The enemy of the people was how the President of the United States called the free press in 2017.
A few days ago, I called the fake news the enemy of the people, and they are. They are the enemy of the people.
The press are enemies of the people? Enemies of the people are a phrase that comes from Stalin. It was used by the Soviets. Enemies of the people were sent to the Gulag or were executed. The fact is, the press is not the enemy of the people. This is a very deliberate attempt to train the American people not to believe anything they hear except from the president, except from the administration.
Mr. President, it is a testament to the condition of our democracy that our own president uses words infamously spoken by Joseph Stalin to describe his enemies.
Stalin was the state. To be against him was to be against the revolution. Any person or group that he imagined as a personal threat was an enemy of the people.
When a figure in power reflexively calls any press that doesn't suit him fake news, it is that person who should be the figure of suspicion, not the press.
It's fake news. 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 It's fake. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news.
In February, Syrian President Bashar Assad brushed off an Amnesty International report that some 13,000 people had been killed in one of his military prisons by saying, "You can forge anything these days. We're living in a fake news era." In the Philippines, President Rodrigo Duterte has complained of being demonized by fake news. Last month, the report continues, with our president, quote, laughing by his side, Duterte called reporters spies. In July, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro complained to Russian propaganda outlet that the world media has spread lots of false versions, lots of lies about his country, adding, "This is what we call fake news today, isn't it?"
Fake news, folks. A lot of fake. It's fake news.
There are more. The state official in Myanmar recently said, "There is no such thing as Rohingya. It is fake news." He was referring to the persecuted ethnic group. Leaders in Singapore, a country known for restricting free speech, have promised fake news legislation in the next year. And on and on and on.
Making America great again.
They are some of the most powerful and dangerous dictators, and Donald Trump seems to be impressed.
You got to give him credit. He wiped out the uncle, he wiped out this one, that one. I mean, this guy doesn't play games. We would be so much better off if Gaddafi were in charge right now. Putin's been a very strong leader for Russia.
One day after branding top news outlets the enemy of the American people, President Trump continued savaging the news media at a Florida rally.
They've become a big part of the problem. They are part of the corrupt system. When the media lies to people, I will never, ever let them get away with it. I will do whatever I can that they don't get away with it. They have their own agenda, and their agenda is not your agenda.
According to the International Federation of Journalists, 80 journalists were killed in 2017. A new report from the Committee to Protect Journalists documents that the number of journalists imprisoned around the world has reached 262, which is a new record. This total includes 21 reporters who are being held on false news charges.
A few days ago, I called the fake news the enemy of the people, and they are.
It was the phrase enemy of the people that even Nikita Khrushchev forbade its use, telling the Soviet Communist Party that the phrase had been introduced by Stalin for the purpose of, quote, annihilating such individuals, unquote, who disagreed with the supreme leader.
There was not a single writer who did not write in praise of Stalin. They were imposing censorship on writers. But writers did not need to be controlled. Every writer developed an inner censor. During those years, I hid away my best ideas so deep within me that to this day I am still searching but cannot find them.
And of course, the president has it precisely backward. Despotism is the enemy of the people. The free press is the despot's enemy, which makes the free press the guardian of democracy. When a figure in power reflexively calls any press that doesn't suit him fake news, it is that person who should be the figure of suspicion, not the press.
No, I never discussed increasing it. I want it in perfect shape. That was just fake news by NBC, which gives a lot of fake news lately. That's just made up. And then they have their sources that don't exist. In my opinion, they don't exist. They make up the sources. It's frankly disgusting the way the press is able to write whatever they want to write. No, the press should speak more honestly. I mean, I've seen tremendously dishonest press. It's not even a question of distortion.
Those of us who travel overseas, especially to war zones and other troubled areas all around the globe, encounter members of U.S.-based media who risk their lives and sometimes lose their lives reporting on the truth. To dismiss their work as fake news is an affront to their commitment and their sacrifice.
Lawmakers of both parties routinely complain about news coverage, but defend a free press and recoil from Trump's words.
Of all the things he has said since he became president or since the election, this to me was the most devastating and the most alarming, that he essentially views the First Amendment, because that's what these organizations represent, as an enemy of the people. Not even Nixon went there.
One Republican senator weighed in by tweeting portions of the Bill of Rights guaranteeing free speech and freedom of the press.
This alone should be the source of great shame for us in this body, especially for those of us in the president's party, for they are shameful, repulsive statements. We know well that no matter how powerful, no president will ever have dominion over objective reality. No politician will ever get us or tell us what the truth is and what it is not. And anyone who presumes to try to attack or manipulate the press for his own purposes should be made to realize his mistake and to be held to account. That is our job here. That is just as Madison, Hamilton, and Jay would have it. Of course, a major difference between politicians and the free press is that the free press usually corrects itself when it's made a mistake. Politicians don't. No longer can we compound the attacks on truth with our silent acquiescence. No longer can we turn a blind eye or a deaf ear to those assaults on our institutions. And, Mr. President, an American president who cannot take criticism, who must constantly deflect and distort and distract, who must find someone else to blame, is charting a very dangerous path.
And I want you all to know that we are fighting the fake news. It's fake, phony, fake.
Mr. President, let us be clear. The impulses underlying the dissemination of such untruths are not benign. They have the effect of eroding trust in our vital institutions and conditioning the public to no longer trust them. The destructive effect of this kind of behavior on our democracy cannot be overstated. And a Congress that fails to act as a check on the president adds to that danger. Now we are told via Twitter that today the president intends to announce his choice for the, quote, most corrupt and dishonest media awards. It beggars belief that an American president would engage in such a spectacle. But here we are. And so, 2018 must be the year in which the truth takes a stand against power that would weaken it. In this effort, the choice is quite simple. And in this effort, the truth needs as many allies as possible. Together, my colleagues, we are powerful. Together, we have it within us to turn back these attacks, to right these wrongs, repair this damage, restore reverence for our institutions, and prevent further moral vandalism.
Fake news turned out.
Fake news.
A little bit of fake news. Like fake news. Fake news. There's a lot of fake news. Somebody was telling me fake news. Fake news. Fake news. It's all fake news. I can just fake news.